Hey everybody, welcome to Art Recycled with Mrs. Hollmeyer. Today we are going to make this really fun sculpture. We are going to use pasta to make a symmetrical sculpture. So that means that we have a reflected image here. Pretend we have a line down the middle of the sculpture. Whatever is on this side, if I reflect it, that's the reflected image, and we're kind of going around one central piece of pasta there in the middle. Now, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need some cardboard. As you can see here, this is like just from a Target box. You could use what you have from a cereal box or something like that. You're going to need lots of different shapes of pasta. You're going to need some white glue, some paint, and a brush. Now, I chose to paint mine all one color because it reminds me of an artist, and her name is Louise Nevelson. Louise Nevelson would find all these different objects, she would glue them down in a sculpture, and then she would spray paint them all one color. And she said she did that because then it helps the individual forms and shadows and lines and shapes show up. It was almost like a Where's Waldo a little bit. So if you look her up, she is a really interesting artist. So let's go ahead and make this fun symmetrical sculpture. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have my 8" by 8" piece of cardboard here. I have my ruler, and I have a black marker just because for this video you can see the marks that I'm going to make on here a little bit better. You can use pencil at home. So here we go. I have my ruler here. I'm gonna put it on the inch side. I'm going to line up 0 with the left-hand edge. And as you can see, my paper cutter isn't perfect. This is just a little shy of 8 inches. So approximately, or ideally, you'd wanna go at the 4" mark. Mine is a little shy, like I said, so I'm gonna go just a little bit to the left of that. I'm going to line up my ruler with the straight edge, and I'm going to go straight up and down. What also helps you understand whether your ruler is straight or not, you could take the flat edge of the ruler, this side, make sure it's flat with the bottom, and then draw. Then I'm going to take my ruler here and I'm going to measure, and I want a line going across this way. So I'm going to put 1 at the top, or 0 at the top, sorry, and then I'm going to come down, find 4 inches, make a mark at 4 inches, flip, and draw a straight line going across this way. So here we go. Now I have my liquid glue, and I'm going to use my pasta to make a symmetrical design. Now these things are going to need a lot of glue because they're not paper, right? So we want to make sure we have enough glue to hold things down. So now I'm going to take this as a center point here, kind of make a dot there. And I think I want 1 piece of pasta to go right over the center dot. So I'm going to put a good amount of glue. I think my center piece is going to be a pasta seashell right there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a symmetrical design. So now here's the rule. If I do one thing in one box, like for example, I choose to do this, that means I have to do that now in every box. So in this box, it would be going this direction. And in this box, it would be going this direction. And you want to look at your spacing too. So these should be approximately spaced the same. So before my glue dries, you see I'm going to adjust them. I want them to be a little triangular. So I'm just checking and making sure that they're like that in every box. The spacing between these long pieces of pasta should approximately be the same. Because if your spacing is off this early, that means that as you move out, your spacing is going to just get off even more. Now here's the thing, see this piece of pasta compared to this one? You know, not all pieces of pasta are the same size, and that can be a little difficult, and we just try to adjust the spacing as best we can as we move out. So maybe the next type of pasta I'm going to use is this kind. Ooh, I like that, the curlicues. So maybe now I'm going to put one of those curlicues between every 2 of my straight pastas. And you can tell I'm really laying on that glue. I know a lot of art teachers are like, dot, dot, not a lot, or not so much glue. This one, you need a lot of glue. All right, awesome. So now from there, maybe I'll go to this kind of pasta and I'll do 2 of these on each side and we will do the pinwheels.
So hopefully you're kind of seeing a pattern here. Again, it is the same in every box as you go out. All right, so now again, I'm going to adjust my spacing with these pinwheels. And now I really have my 4 corners left, right? Whatever I'm going to do in a corner, I'm going to make sure it's the same in each and every corner. All right, now notice my macaronis. I made sure that the macaronis were always facing the bow tie, because if they were both facing to the left, then I would have to adjust that in each one of these as well, right? So sometimes it depends on the shape of your pasta. The way it's facing does make a difference if you're going to do it in a symmetrical design. All right, so now what I have to do is I have to let this dry overnight.
All right, so now the fun part comes. It is time to paint. Now, I really love these with one color of paint. So I have a metallic gold here. This thicker paint that I have is acrylic, but you don't have to use acrylic. You can use tempera paint. And one really helpful tip is when you're painting this, your pasta might break, like you just saw I had a piece break off there. You know, it's okay. There's nothing you can do about it. If a piece breaks off kind of in this stage, the easiest thing to glue it back on with is hot glue, just because obviously if it's wet with the white glue or Elmer's glue that we had, it's just going to slide around. I really like one color for these because I feel like it really makes the design pop out, but of course you could paint yours however you want. You could use multiple colors. Maybe you paint each quadrant or each square a different color. And as you can see with my brush, sometimes with these sculptural elements of the pasta, it is hard to kind of like get in there. So I'm using my brush to even kind of stab a little bit. The type of brush I'm using is called a flathead brush. It's in a square kind of shape, kind of like this. So I'm not using a brush that has a pointed tip. That would take a lot longer. These flatheads hold a lot of paint. All right, there we go. Now, whew, that was a lot of work. I had to twist and turn and poke and prod and do all of that to get this all painted gold. All right, so I hope you really enjoyed this fun project from Art Recycled, and I will see you next time. And I hope you learned a little bit about symmetry and had fun making this sculpture.